PMacMovies back for a brief movie reviews video. Thanks for joining me here. This is going to be a little talk, a little coffee talk and reviews. I got my Guatemalan coffee here in my little Yeti mug. Organic creamer, non-GMO sugar. Pretty good. Burnt my throat a little bit. Let's wash that down with some water. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, watching. For my reviews, I don't try to sound smart and official and, oh, the acting of this movie was so good, the cinematography was beautiful. I'm taking a look at, did I like the movie, some of the different aspects of the movie that I found interesting. Was it entertaining? Was it boring? I used to be big into like looking at Rotten Tomatoes, looking at the ratings. And I find the most entertaining movies a lot of times are absolutely not the movies that get the real high Rotten Tomatoes ones. A lot of times it's in the middle range, 30-something percent to 60-something percent, I think, tend to be the best movies. I don't like real artsy stuff. I like stuff with some like deeper messages in it, some interesting stuff, and I also want to talk a little bit in this thing about like this celebrity worship, or I don't know if worship's the right word, but this, when I was younger, I would have just killed to meet certain actors, get autographs, meet certain professional athletes. And now as I've gotten older, I'm not saying I'm better than anyone necessarily, but my point of view is just totally shifted. These actors and actresses are basically controlled. A lot of their lives, I think, are controlled, and people see them as rich and famous and all this. I'm not really sure how much of that's true, because you'll have like the big actor, oh, they made all this money for this movie. They have to stay in line. They have to do what they're told, or they're not going to stay where they're at. The people really controlling things are, the people who own these movie studios and things like that. And there's enough talent out there that, there's enough talent out there that everybody is easily replaceable if they want to replace them. We don't know if we're even given the real people who make these movies or write these movies, or if we're getting front people and things like that. They're getting a lot of ideas from other places, or steered in this direction, and then they're getting the credit for it. I find all that stuff interesting. These actors and actresses, who knows what they did to get where they're at? There's so many talented people out there. What is putting these certain people that get the fame and fortune above the people that are just as talented, or not more talented, if not more talented? So there's a lot of stuff going on that people don't know about, and people are putting a lot of energy into going to these conventions and meeting these people. Guess what? These actors and writers and all, do you think they feel like going to all these conventions and stuff? They do it because they're told to do it, or they're out. So, they don't want to, they want to meet all their fans. Look at, and it reminds me of other things like, the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones are still like touring and doing concerts. Do you think those old frickin' sons of bitches feel like doing that? They don't feel like doing it. They're told, you better do this or else. Like, they don't have a choice. They're told what to do. And I'm sure the official narrative is not that they're told what to do. It's a lot different. But there's a difference between reality and what makes sense and the official narrative. These old geezer bands and stuff, they don't feel like going around touring. How long have they done it? They got other things they want to do with their lives. But and these actors and things I see people with photographs of these actors and stuff at these conventions. Do you really think those people want to be at those conventions? Like, and I know this isn't people watching this video are probably going to be annoyed with what I'm talking about now, because I'm talking to a lot of people who are fans of this stuff. And I watch it from more of a perspective of, I wonder what they're going to put in this movie, what the powers, what the people who own these movie studios, and Disney owns pretty much everything now. What are they pushing in this movie? So it's more about that than like worshiping these people, these actors and actresses. I wouldn't want to be one of them people. Their lives are shit. Their lives are crap, and they go nuts and they get into drug abuse. Well, gee whiz, I wonder why. I gotta leave that open so it cools down. First, I want to go over some movies that are courtesy of my pal Joe Masiello. Without Joe, I would not have been able to watch these movies yet. He provided me a way to watch these movies. Good supporter of the channel. Man Joe, very good supporter of the channel. And there's some other people out there that are really great supporters of the channel. I don't want to start naming them all because I didn't write them down. But Joe has been very what's the word? PMac's not thinking right here. He's helped support the channel, moving it forward. We wouldn't be here without Joe. So let's take a look at these movies, these recent movies that I've watched. I watched Last Christmas, and that is one with the girl from Game of Thrones, which she made another good one. I think it was like Me Before You or something, which was really good. I don't know if that's the title. It's something like that. Last Christmas wasn't as good as that. Her character is kind of not very likable. And you kind of find that it's that way for a reason. It's certainly a good romantic comedy type of thing to watch with like a significant other and things like that. So I ended up enjoying it. Like I said, her character wasn't very likable in my opinion, but I think you kind of realize that there's a reason for that, and there is, like, this movie throws you for a loop. You think it's pretty straightforward. It'll throw you for a loop. I keep burning myself. That is not good. All right, other movies. I'm just gonna open this at this point so that it cools down, so that we can drink some coffee while we talk. Just sit back, relax, drink some coffee. When I started this video, the battery in this thing is trash. When I started this video, I was at 50-something%. Now I'm already at 20. So I'm gonna have to plug this in. Good thing I have a charger right here. All right, PMac, this has been a boring video. Dr. Sleep is next on my list. Dr. Sleep starring Ewan McGregor. There is some really interesting stuff in this one. This was a really entertaining watch for me. I feel like the first 2 hours were real, and I watched the director's cut, which is like 3 hours. The first 2 hours of this I thought were really great. The last hour, I don't know if I just got kind of, it could have been me, but I didn't, I wasn't as into it the last hour, but this is one that these mainstream movies, when they get down to about $10, I'll still usually wait. I want to get them cheaper than that. But Dr. Sleep, if I can get that for about $10, it's a good one. And I do want to watch it again. The ideas presented in it were very interesting as far as this group of beings feeding off the energy of people and children in particular, which is really messed up for one thing. The scene in this, there's kind of it's tough to watch. It's some sick shit that they show you in movies, and if you don't think it's affecting you, well, you can think it's not affecting you all you want, but this stuff's all going into your subconscious and it's affecting you. There is some traumatic, crazy shit in that movie, and it's a good movie. It's very entertaining, and like I said, I'm really interested in the ideas that these movies present. And I really think that in our real life, and it's not like it's presented in the movie, but there are beings here that are feeding off of our negative energy, which is why a system is created where we are under constant stress. And there's a lot of stuff if you research on stuff as far as like I can't really get into that too much. But it's just messed up what is shown in this movie with kids in particular. There's some really, like, they're feeding on young kids with this power, with a lot, basically with a lot of life force. I mean, the movie shows it as the steam, or the what is it called? It was the steam is what these beings call it, or the shining, of course, is what Danny's friend there calls it. But this is a really interesting movie, really good movie. Something where if you want some metaphors for what's really going on out there, and the shine or the steam, we all have great power that we're basically taught to not use it. And our minds, our words, they have a great amount of power. We just don't recognize it because we're taught totally different. We're taught we're like an insignificant being in this big galaxy and all this. It's nonsense. We are very powerful, like a Danny or like the young girl in this movie are very powerful. We have great powers too. And there are beings that want to basically feed on that and take us away from that, take that power from us, feed on our stress levels, feed on our anxiety or depression, and things like that. Dr. Sleep, really good one. Some really good metaphors, some really sick, twisted shit that was presented in the movie. Ready or Not is another one that I think throws some interesting ideas out there about this family and some weird crap going on, and this like deal with the devil type of thing with this family. It's an entertaining movie. I watched it very late and I stayed awake. So it's another one that, while I wouldn't pay $10 for it, PMac, you're a cheap sumbitch. Probably 8-ish. It's an entertaining movie. If you haven't seen it and you can get it for a good deal, get that one. I'm trying to like think of how to talk about the movie without giving much away. It starts with a marriage, and then this family. There's some weird stuff going on with the family. This basically this pact that this family has with some sort of entity or something. That might be giving away too much, but it's a really good, entertaining movie. Gemini Man is more of a turn your brain off sort of thing. Will Smith, Clive Owen. Clive Owen's the villain in the movie, and I actually thought Gemini Man was entertaining enough. I made it through. It was a fun like action movie. Nothing great though. One watch sort of thing. Downton Abbey, the movie, pretty much if you've seen the show Downton Abbey, it's the same sort of thing. I enjoyed the movie. Me and Charmaine watched it. We both enjoyed the movie. So that's a good one. And then Joker. Oh boy. Obviously a very big movie. I am really concerned the messages, and I believe that this is directly what the people who made the movie were looking to do, I think, personally, but you can think whatever you want. It's just so blatant with how he's treated poorly by people, and then this kind of justifies his behavior. And this is young people are very easy to influence. Teenagers or younger than that are very easy to influence. They see this sort of thing, and this puts ideas in that mind. A lot of people, and there's a lot of like mental health stuff. Oh, if you're made fun of for mental health problems, if you're made fun of because you're different, to totally rebel and be violent in society. There's some horrible message in that movie. Is Joker an entertaining movie? I was entertained by it. I was into it. I thought it was a good movie from that perspective. But from the message perspective, it is horrible. And people that are easily influenced are going to be very influenced by this movie. That's just the way it is. If you don't think that media influences the mind of people, so, with weak minds, and a lot of people out there have weak minds, whether they're kids or not. Oh, that person, deserves what they get because they made fun of that person or whatever. They were hard on that person because of their... And obviously that does happen. People are hard on other people. People are stressed. People are abused, and then they abuse others. But this movie gives such a message of just going into being a psycho because of it. It really sends a horrible message. Joker. The next movie is Dora, the City of Gold, which I probably watched that. That was probably more than a month ago. And I'll tell you, me and Charmaine really enjoyed that movie. It is a very fun adventure type of movie, kind of an Indiana Jones type of thing. And I definitely I'm hoping to get that in my collection like decently soon. If I could get it for a reasonable price of again probably around $10, something like that. It's just a fun one. I'm not going to get into details of it, but I believe it's pretty family friendly. So if you have kids, great kids movie. From what I remember, I can't remember if there was like bad stuff in it. Nothing that I remember that was too bad. I thought it was a really good, fun, entertaining movie. Those are all the ones that I do not own that I watched. So thanks again, Joe. You the man. Very generous. That's the word I was looking for, generous. You couldn't think of the word generous. It's only 8-something in the morning. Don't judge me. I like when people say don't judge me, too, because, like, we're constantly judging everything all the time. So really what it is don't, like, prejudge me based on what I look like or what, stuff like that. But we constantly have to be judging people and judging things and judging situations. Let's get rid of that. Next up, I did recently buy this one called Terminator Dark Fate, the new Terminator movie, starring Linda Hamilton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mackenzie Davis, Gabriel Luna, Diego Boneta, Natalia Reyes, directed by Tim Miller, whoever the heck that is. 2019, 128 minutes from Paramount. This is an entertaining enough action movie, and in watching like the first hour of it, I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. There's the agenda stuff in this you get from pretty much all the big movies, and people don't like me bringing up this agenda stuff, but this it's pretty blatant with some of the agendas and changing the male savior. They totally mess up kind of the Terminator 2. They just kind of delete, or not delete, but just like you're basically changing the ending of that movie. And I'm not one that's gonna get fed up about that. You ruined Terminator. You ruined Star Wars. Like, come on, is your life really that pathetic? I don't mean to offend anyone, but seriously. I thought it was entertaining enough. It's just like, really? You have like all this to work with, like this Terminator story, and it's pretty much like the first Terminator in a lot of ways. It's a lot like the first Terminator, like the newer Star Wars was like A New Hope. Force Awakens was? It was really, you couldn't change it or expand on it to the point of where it doesn't seem like the same movie. Be offended all you want. That's what PMac thinks. It's an entertaining enough movie, but it's like, couldn't you do better with all the talent that you have with this movie studio, special effect, everything you got, and this is what you put... Like, you could... It's the same with the Star Wars movies, really. Like, yeah, it was entertaining, but this is like one of your biggest franchises. You have a shit ton of talent, and I'm not talking about like actors and stuff. I'm talking about writers, and you have all the talent in the world at your disposal. this is what you come up with, really? You're a dick, PMac. You're a dick. I'm offended. I'm turning this off. I'm just saying what I think. Up next, we have Midsommar. I believe this was a pretty divisive movie. Some people loved it. It's just genius. Some people thought it was a big pile of poop. I'm on the poop side for sure. This is a big pile of poop. Because this is a weird movie. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of symbols and stuff thrown at you. I feel like people don't know, and I don't know. I have no idea. All these symbols and all this stuff thrown at you. I don't know what it all means, but it means something. And it's something that again going into your subconscious, and this is, it's like it's traumatizing you. But it wasn't even entertaining. Like, you watch something like David Lynch, and it's a weird movie. It's strange. And there's probably some stuff in there that's going to mess you up. But at least it's entertaining. At least you have fun with it. This is like... I mean, I guess it's entertaining. And I don't know why anyone would want to rewatch this. Why did you buy it, PMacMovies? The price I paid for it was good enough that I don't... It's not a big deal that I bought it and stuff. I like to own movies. And maybe I'll watch this again in a couple years and be like, wow, that's... I didn't understand it. But I really don't think so. I feel like it's just trash. I feel like there's a lot of stuff in here that you're not going to catch. You're probably not supposed to catch. And they'll just say, oh, we put that in there for... But it's... And it's kind of predictable, too. And then I was reading, like, the director's talking about how it's about, like, relationships and stuff like that. Like, and then it's, like, something about how the girl and the guy, and, like, the girl was gonna, like, I don't want to give away plot stuff, but, like the guy was bad or something in the movie. The boyfriend, there's a girl and the boyfriend. The boyfriend didn't really do anything to her. Like, he was trying his best. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sure some really smart, clever people who liked the movie and thought it was real deep and profound are going to come in and say, oh, blah, 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 this meant this and this. And it's a big pile of poop. Up next, a TV show, which I have a couple TV shows in here. Let's do the TV shows last. And we got 3 TV seasons. I got this Scream Factory movie called The Sentinel, and I'm glad I got it because I actually thought that this was... It seemed like a pretty, like, decent, underrated movie, kind of like a Rosemary's Baby sort of thing, where she moves into this place, and there's some strange stuff going on in this place. I actually thought it was really good. A 70s horror movie. This is a recommendation. I got this from the buy 2 get 1 sale from Best Buy, so I got this for around $10, which I think if you can get this for around $10, you should really beer yourself. I wouldn't pay $15 for it personally, just because it's an older Scream Factory. It's been out for a while. You should be able to get it for about $10 at the right time. But it is an entertaining movie if you like 70s, 80s, horror, things like that. I thought this was a really good one. And I'm actually kind of surprised that it wasn't like more highly regarded. It's also got Jeff Goldblum, Tom Berenger, Christopher Walken. The girl in this, I think I like the girl in this quite a bit. I watched this a few weeks ago, but also in this is Burgess Meredith. He's in this with an interesting role there. And basically, she's living at this apartment place with apartment. It's a lot like Rosemary's Baby. She's meeting the neighbors. There's some weird shit going on, and you kind of find out what the heck's going on. I don't want to give too much away. I watched Willard with Crispin Glover, and I really enjoyed like the beginning of this movie. But I just felt like it lost me. It probably lost me about a half hour, 45 minutes in, and I was just out. So I didn't really like it that much, honestly, and I don't really have that much to say about it because I kind of checked out of it. I thought it was good, weird, but then it just kind of like, it didn't go in a direction where I thought it could go in like a more deeper profound direction, and I just didn't feel like it did. So that I can't recommend that. Up next, a Black Friday snag for $6. A movie that I think this might be underrated. I don't really hear too much about it. It's Bad Times at the Royale. This has a really big-time cast. Jeff Bridges, Dakota Johnson, John Hamm, Chris Hemsworth. This has a lot of twists and turns. It's directed by Drew Goddard from 2018, 141 minutes, so it's pretty long. And I found this to be a really entertaining, twisty, turny thriller. It's going to throw you off. Stuff's going to happen you don't expect. It's going to blow your mind. I really had a good time with it. I give this a high recommendation if you're in the mood for like a thriller that's kind of throwing you for loops. The characters are interesting. There's really some shocks in this. It was really good. How much should you pay for the Blu-ray? I paid $6 for it on Black Friday. I think $8 or less is a reasonable deal for that one. Another one that I really enjoyed. Did I talk about this one already? This was actually kind of like a throw-in that I had. It was a Target buy two, get one. And I had two movies around like $23 or whatever. And then I saw this was a pre-order, knew nothing about the movie. Saw that Ethan Hawke was in it. And I'm like, I'll order it. And then if I want to return it, I'll return it. And I'm glad I ordered it because it is a fantastic movie. And it is snow falling on Cedars. Ethan Hawke, one of my favorite actors. Also in this, James Cromwell, Richard Jenkins, Max von Sydow. This is 128 minutes from 1999. And this is one that I don't think got very good critical reviews, but it is an absolutely fantastic mystery, drama, I don't know, coming of age, I don't know. But this is just I was totally engaged throughout. It's a lot, it has to do a lot with a relationship between Ethan Hawke's character and this this Japanese girl. And there's stuff with World War II and the Japanese people being taken to camps and things like that. And I don't know how much of that is accurate back then. I know you learn it in high school. Everything you learn in high school history class is totally accurate. And it's true to some degree. I don't know how much, but as far as the movie, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And if you did want to take a look at like cinematography and stuff like that, which PMac doesn't really talk about, that was really good too. The emotion, the emotion. PMac had tears flowing in this movie. It's really it's gonna emotionally, this is gonna twist and turn you. Now this is more of a not emotional thing, but more of a just like shocks and twists and turns. This emotionally is gonna take you on ups and downs. And if you can get this one, I would say this is worth probably about $18. So if you can get this for a decent price, I absolutely think that, if what I just said about it sounds good to you, you should snag it. And a lot of the movie is actually, it's a trial with, there is a death of someone in this town, and it's blamed on the Japanese woman's husband, and then it's trying to figure out did he do it and stuff like that, and it kind of goes back and forth between the current court case and the history. It's going back and forth in time, and it's just an absolutely fantastic movie. Really high recommendation. PMacMovies classic status. PMacMovies 5 out of 5. It's a PMac classic. I didn't give these movies number rating. So I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5. I'm going to give Bad Times in the El Royale a 4.5 out of 5. Willard, I'm going to go with a 3. The Sentinel, a solid 3.5. Midsommar, I'm going to give a 2. And Terminator Dark Fate, entertaining enough, I'll give it a 3. Up next, this is one that I just bought and just watched. It is Alicia Silverstone in The Crush. Cary Elwes also in this. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Written and directed by Alan Shapiro. This is a really entertaining one, thriller. Again, it got bad reviews, but don't look at the reviews too much. This is what you think it's going to be. It's an entertaining thriller. I think I've seen stuff kind of like this before. You've probably seen stuff like this where the girl, one of the characters just gets obsessed with the other person and gives them a hard time. From 1993. How many minutes is this? 89, I think it says. And it's very entertaining and solid all the way through. I really liked it. I liked Carrie Elwes was in the movie. Alicia Silverstone was excellent in the movie. I don't get into performances too much, but I will say that they did their roles well. Jennifer Rubin I like too, and it's funny because I just bought another movie that should be shipped to me with her in it, and I don't remember ever seeing her in a movie before. So I would give this a solid thriller. I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed this one. I don't know that it's a great movie, but it's a very entertaining one. And if you got this for $10 from the Scream Factory sale, you did well. I watched this one yesterday. It is called Young Adult with Charlize Theron. And this has the feel of an indie movie, but it's not an indie movie. Paramount put this out. This girl who has she's got mental issues. She's had success in her life moving to the city from this small town, but she hasn't really gotten any fulfillment in her life. She's divorced, and she's going back to this town, trying to get back with this boyfriend. Written by Diablo Cody, directed by Jason Reitman. Charmaine did not like this one, but I found it very entertaining. There are some scenes in this that are very uncomfortable just because of the way that Charlize Theron's character acts. But I like this kind of movie, where it's kind of taking a look at the different characters and kind of, learning a little bit about herself and maybe having to come to terms with certain things. I found it to be a good, entertaining movie. And again, I would give this... I would give this, 3.5 out of 5. I'm kind of juggling between 3.5 and 4 on these because, I don't know, just because I am. It's just, it doesn't really matter the number that we put on it, but I like to give them some reviews and ratings and stuff. So I do recommend this one if you can get it for a few bucks. It's been pretty cheap before if you can get it. You can probably find it at like a thrift store or a pawn shop or something. I think I got that one from like a Dollar General used or something for $1. I enjoyed it. It has the indie feel. This is a fantastic movie. I might have talked about this one before. Jane Eyre here. Another Dollar General one that I got. This one I got for like $2.50. And was it $2.50? I think so. Man, I'm glad I got this because me and Charmaine watched this probably a couple months ago. We both absolutely loved this movie. And again, emotionally, this is going to take you on an emotional roller coaster. Mia Wasikowska from Alice in Wonderland, Michael Fassbender, who's been in a lot of movies, Judi Dench. And how much do I want to say about this movie? This is... this girl grows up in a very abusive environment, and then she's kind of trying to find where she belongs as a adult, I guess. I guess she's an adult, like young, but she's an adult. And forms this relationship with Michael Fassbender's character, and that turns out a certain way. It's just all these ups and downs. But if you like, Pride and Prejudice sort of thing, that kind of era and stuff like that, I thought this was absolutely a fantastic movie. And I have to give this a PMacMovies classic status, 5 out of 5. If I love a movie that much, I really like Bad Time in the El Royale, but did I love it? Did it take me on an emotional ride? Maybe to some degree, but 4.5. This is a 5 out of 5 PMac classic. If you can get this for a decent price, I would say $6 or less for this one. It's a universal one. It should be readily available. You might even be able to find this at Dollar General because that's where I found it. It's $4.95. I think I got this during a half off thing, so I got it for like $2.50. And man, I am glad that I got that because I think I was on the fence. I had the DVD. was like, do I really need the Blu-ray? But I am really glad I got that one because I loved it a lot more than I thought I was going to. And Charmaine liked it a lot too. We got 3 TV seasons. Holy cow, we're at almost 35 minutes. First, The Haunting of Hill House, which was a Netflix show. And I was into this. I watched all the extended ones. If there was an option between extended or the regular one, I would always watch the extended. I was into this most of the time. How many episodes was this? This did not need to be as long as it was. It just felt like it was kind of... It was just like inflate, like they had to make it 10 episodes or whatever it is, 8 or 10, I can't remember. But it just felt like there was filler in it. 10 episodes. I really don't feel like it needed to be 10 episodes. I feel like it could have been several episodes less than that. With that said, I did enjoy it. They put together a nice cast here. It just felt like it was like it was kind of slow, and it was like kind of the same sort of stuff over and over again. It was somewhat unfulfilling. I mean, people had a problem with the ending of it. I thought the ending was solid enough, but I kind of felt like there should be more to it or something. I felt like it was just something, even though it was overly long, like something was missing. That being said, I thought it was a pretty solid, entertaining watch. I don't think it's worth what I paid for it. I paid probably a little bit less than $20. These Paramount shows do tend to be like kind of pricey, like the Star Trek Discovery and stuff. They tend to keep their price. I would not recommend paying more than $15 for this one, Haunting of Hill House. I do think it's solid enough though, but I do have issues with it. Then this is $5 at Big Lots, Dracula. And this is pretty lowly regarded. I believe this was 10 episodes, 7 hours, 28 minutes. And I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed this one. There's a lot of stuff with, it's like Dracula versus this elite group of men thing. And then there's some other stuff going on, some romance. And so I really enjoyed this show. It only lasted 1 season. This is the whole show right here. So this is the complete series. And at that price, $5 for this, I personally really enjoyed it, but I know it didn't get very good. The customer reviews, I think customer reviews were generally good, but like critically, it didn't do very well. I thought Jonathan Rhys-Meyers was good as Dracula. I liked the performance, and there were some other performances in this. I liked who they picked to play the certain parts and things like that. But I think it's a really good buy at Big Lots, and one that I found really entertaining. It's set in, I believe, like kind of the same time period as, like the Jack the Ripper sort of time period. And I believe it's set in London, Victorian London. I thought it had like kind of a cool story to it. I don't know though that if it really could have lasted for very long with how the show was. I think it could have probably, if it did well enough, I think it could have went like at least another season or a couple seasons with what they had to work with. But it would have wore out its welcome, like most shows do. But I think it's a shame that it didn't get more than 1 season. I do think it tied up everything well enough in this 1 season that it's worth getting, and it's complete enough the way it was. I give that a recommendation. And then Star Trek Discovery Season 2. I think a lot of people like this one more than the first season. This is from 2019, 11 hours, 50 minutes. I think it was interesting with Captain Pike, and the guy that they picked to play Captain Pike was really good, but the show tends to focus on her character, and it's just, I don't know. I don't find her really that likable. Michael Burnham is her name. They gave her the name Michael. I like the slipcover. There's definitely some agenda stuff in this, but I try to find it for the entertainment value. We did enjoy the first season, even with the agenda stuff. And I like kind of out there, entertaining, imaginary stuff. So of course I like Star Trek, and it was entertaining enough. 14 episodes. I didn't like it as much as the first season, just personal preference. But like I said, some people liked it quite a bit more than the first season. But it was definitely entertaining, and we watched it pretty quick. So, you know, if we watch it pretty quick, it's got to be good, because I'm not going to stick with something that much if it's not entertaining me. So, if you can get this one, I think I paid like mid-20s for this. I probably overpaid a little bit. I did really want to see it though, but I think the lowest price season 1 Blu-ray's gotten is $20 on the Amazon Prime Day when I got it. So I would say about $20 for this one. Is about what you should be paying for that. So, over 40 minutes. PMac is a little bit wore out. I really appreciate your feedback. There's a lot of feedback on my last video, my haul video. I do really appreciate that. I got a lot of thumbs up and stuff like that. That brings joy to my heart. I don't get as much for these reviews videos. Obviously, I'm putting, close to an hour of my life between getting it ready, doing the video, uploading and stuff like that, into making these videos. So I hope that you guys can give back by just hitting the thumbs up, by commenting, letting me know about anything that I showed off in this right here, this baby right here, this big stack right there. Some good stuff. Nothing horrible, really. Nothing horrible. Maybe Midsommar. Maybe horrible. Only one horrible out of all that. Pretty good. Pretty good. So I actually watched a fair amount of good stuff. But if you appreciate PMacMovies and you want to help out the channel more than I've already talked about, take a look at the description section for ways that you can help out. Very much appreciated. It's a big, I mean, it's a motivator. It's a motivator, and I do enjoy making these videos, but you need a push. Let's be realistic. You need a push sometimes. But yeah, let me know about anything I watch here. Have you seen any of these things? What are your thoughts on these movies? Some of the different themes and things that I talked about in this video. You can feel like they're pretty out there, but I do a lot of research on that sort of stuff. I have over... what's it been, about 8 years now. I've been doing a lot of research and things like that, so I don't just say things willy-nilly. But thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time on PMacMovies.